everybody could just look this way and just look pretty. Oh, I don't have my arms long enough.
Selfie stick.
3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you.
Of course. I'm ready whenever you are.
I never want a selfie stick. That's one thing.
Alright, we are
Dr. Kousouli, you're more than welcome to use the headphones, but if you don't want them on, that's okay too.
Let me just turn this guy off, or else we're gonna.
It's whatever's more comfortable.
Yeah.
I felt so out of the loop because you both were talking and I couldn't hear you earlier, and I was just like, that's probably why I was so quiet for the first half. Just felt like I had headphones on.
I liked it.
Like, cool.
Just gonna bring this up a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Just one more
All
second.
right, so one more
Just
time,
adjusting.
can I get a pen and everyone's
Oh, yeah.
name, or
Of
how you want
course.
to be called? You know.
Jordan.
You got Jordan, yeah.
We Sam.
Mr.
Sam?
Quiche.
We Sam. Yeah. Mr. Key. I actually
Mr.
like
Quiche.
WASEM.
WESAM. Like
W-E.
we and Sam.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
gotcha. And
Nicole.
Nicole. Okay.
Kousouli.
I start calling everybody Barbara and Mike and stuff. Thank you.
Dr. Kousouli, right?
Yes, Dr. Kousouli. Yeah, Dr.
Kousouli.
Theo Kousouli.
Theo Kousouli. Yeah. All right, whenever you are. Hello, hello. Welcome to Actors Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, as always, Sam Quiche. With me co-hosting is Mr. Jordan Burbank. Jordan.
Hello. I am here. I
love-
am present.
You are present in here. I love your shirt.
Thanks. I think you have one just like it.
Similar. It's similar quality. I realize
you
I
wore it
always
last
compliment what you're wearing whenever I start the show. Most of the time I do that.
You mean like last episode and this episode?
Yes.
It's okay. I appreciate it.
Of
It makes
course.
me feel good about
Of
my
course.
choices
Of
in
course.
life.
Our show today is brought to you by Cast It Talent. Cast It Talent is the exclusive partner to Cast It's network of more than 10,000 of Hollywood's top casting directors, producers, directors, and studio execs. Right actor, right job is the hashtag that they use all the time and that we want to use as well. Whenever you're submitting yourself, we want to make sure you're hitting the right jobs you need as an actor, not just submitting for every single project you see online. Also, later on in the show, we have one of their showcase winners,
Kandace Caine.
Kandace Caine, and we're really excited to talk to her. But right now, we have a very different guest with us. Someone we wouldn't usually have on the show, but he's got an excellent practice, and he's putting out a great message, and he's helping a lot of people, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. His name is Dr. Theo Kousouli, and he's a board-certified chiropractor, hypnotherapist, mentor, author, speaker, teacher. You wear a lot of hats. Dr. Kousouli, thank you for so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for having me. Sam, and Nicole, everybody, thank you so much.
Of course, of
Appreciate
course.
it, yeah. And
theme-
excuse my Greekness.
Oh,
know.
no.
You know,
They're-
and my jersey. Sometimes my jersey comes out.
Of course, that's the Greek and the Jersey is more than welcome here on the show.
Thank you.
The theme for today, and I got it from watching one of your videos, it's finding the source of the problem instead of chasing the symptoms.
Correct.
And I want to quote something from Lao Tzu. He's a philosopher and poet of ancient China. Here's the quote. If you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place.
Beautiful. I love the quote, and it's 100% correct.
Why do you think is correct? And from your experiences, what have you learned?
Wow, that's a big question.
It is.
It's an open-ended-
Start off big.
Yeah. Why not? You know, go big or go home, as they say. Well, the culmination of who I am today is very different than who I started to be. And it's because of the experiences that I have amassed over the years.
Right.
Things that have happened to me, things I have decided to learn for myself, and the mentors and the gurus that have taken my hand and led me this way. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful to be able to do that now for the entertainment community, help people, actors, models, CEOs, people in the business sector. It's amazing because what has happened for me is happening for these people now. Miracles daily, and crossing all lines, not just medical, holistic, metaphysical. all over the place. It's all together. It shouldn't be separate. It should be together. Everybody should work together from all walks of life and all walks of careers. There's a unity happening, a mass unity, very fast. It's happening faster and faster every day. I'm seeing it happening in the office, through my career as a metaphysical practitioner, as a healer. I'm just seeing so many changes. I mean, I don't even know where to start to answer your question.
Well, let me get more specific here.
Yes.
There is a fear and sometimes a negative discretion, whenever people hear the word spirituality or metaphysical science, especially when people try to practice it for healing purposes.
Right.
And I think, I don't know if you can hit on the problem of that, but with your practice, you unify those things together, and it works. Why? How?
Again, that's a big question. How much time do we have right now? Everybody that comes in has a different way of understanding it. For the longest time, when people came into my office, they're like, what do you do? I heard so many different things. What is it you do? And we couldn't put words to it. Only when you experienced it could you really understand what it is I did. And everyone says now, just go. And because everyone has a different experience. Yes, I'm a chiropractor by nature, by degree, to know the neurology and know the physiology of the body. That's
Right.
very important for what I do. But I'm also a hypnotherapist. I've also read over 2,000 books on healing. I have my own healing technique, which is what I use, the Kousouli method.
Cool.
And that is the basis of my books and my works, and that's what I'm developing, and actually have come into greater understanding about what we can do as human beings here. But it's funny because people come to me and they say, I have this problem, or I have that problem, I have this challenge, and I say, especially if it's an actor, let's just say it's an actor for instance.
Okay.
And he says, I have this problem. I get into the room and there's so many difficult things I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with my home life. I'm dealing with the audition. I'm dealing with memorizing the lines. And I'm going to say, stop. You're not an actor. And immediately, he's like, what do you mean I'm not an actor? I was like, you're not an actor. Think. Let's slow this down. Let's go back. You are actually a metaphysical being of divine nature, one of the source, which we all are, that has come here to this world, in this realm, to basically create as a God, made in the image and likeness of your source, creator. The blood that is going through your body, the heartbeat, the breath you're taking right now. What is it? And they get it then. They start to get it. They start to understand where we're coming from.
Right.
And they understand that they are God source. And once you understand your God source, everything else becomes very small in problems and challenges. And then everything becomes fun. And everything becomes a solution. So then when the mind is set correctly, because the mind in this city, Los Angeles, New York, Miami, wherever you go, there's just so much bombarding it that you have to come down. People don't even know how to meditate. They don't know how to stop the mind. They don't know how to stop their chaotic thinking, and they don't know where to go with it. They have so many leaders, and they're being they're being led nowhere. You know, I was in the same position, and that's why as I started off as a young model, and then I got into acting, and then I got into photography, and then videography. I had an agency myself in Philadelphia where I moved to Atlanta. I had a development company, an image development company.
Right.
And then I had a accident that happened, a pool accident while I was in Greece. I was monkeying around with two other individuals. We were on each other's shoulders.
Right,
we were
right.
wrestling. A guy falls, takes my head with him.
Oh, wow.
I hear a pop. My arm goes numb completely. My heart, my lungs start to really slow down. I thought I was dying. I basically was. They pulled me out of the pool. 2 months I was stuck in that position. 2 months. Everything I heard, everything from drugs to surgery to all that, I knew instinctively that was not the correct way. So I just, shut up and just went with it. Like my father, he's a Spartan, we had the Spartan blood. He's like, you're a Spartan, you're supposed to take this.
Yeah.
Stop being a wimp.
Right.
So I puckered up and just kept my crying to myself. But you couldn't move. I mean, I was so stuck that in order to talk to you, I had to move to the left like this. I had to actually move my whole body or else I couldn't talk to you. And the sleeping, you just couldn't move. One little movement, it felt like hot tar was running down my body. and
Wow.
it was very painful. So I went to a chiropractor, even though my father hated chiropractors at the time, and people didn't know what chiropractic was. And I went into this man's office, young 40-year-old male, didn't look like he knew anything, right? Compared to the people with the master's degrees and all the white lab coats that I was seeing. And I was like, what are you going to do for me that all these other experts, in this medical field, haven't been able to do for me? I mean, what are you going to do? And he looked at me, he smiled and said, I'm going to reconnect your brain with your body through your neck. After looking at my x-rays and everything, he looked so confident. I had faith in him. And this was a young guy, relatively young guy. I lie down, I look up, and I look at a light just like that, looking at a light. And I'm saying, and I started praying. I said, please don't let him fully paralyze me and kill me.
Right.
Because everyone else has almost done that. And I was at that moment at my wit's end. What could I do?
Right.
And I said, I let go. I had complete faith in that moment. And the man puts his hands on my neck, slowly moves me, and then with one very quick, gentle, yet amazing force, it felt as if God himself slapped me silly, and the force of God came through the air into my corona, into my head, in my crown chakra, down my body, and it felt like millions of rivers rushing through me at the same time.
Wow.
And then my hands started to tingle coming back. My heart started to regulate. My lungs started to I was breathing normally. I was like, this is amazing. I was in tears. I got off the table. I said, what did you do to me? He said, I gave you back your life. I gave you back your life force. It was always there.
Yeah.
I just reconnected it. And at that moment, that changed me. I went from being a photographer and in the entertainment business on that side, in front of the camera, to behind the scenes.
That's an incredible story. It's an amazing awakening too.
Wow.
It sets you up for everything else that you've been doing in your life. You hit on something earlier in what you were talking about, that the mind is being bombarded, especially in big cities like Los Angeles, New York, Philly, Chicago. There's so much stuff going on. There's a lot of people. And I always used to think this, and please educate me or tell me if I'm wrong completely or if you agree with me. I always felt like you can always feel other people's energies to a certain degree, like especially if you're on the road driving or you're walking in the mall. I mean, you just feel all this kind of energy, these, the noise, the advertisements, the colors, the lights. I love to. There are moments either really early in the morning or like really late at night when everybody's kind of asleep, and I like to go up in my garden. It's on the rooftop of my apartment, and I kind of feel everything's kind of just like settled down. And that's where I like to like think, meditate, and I kind of feel my own energy, if you will, like kind of, I can feel myself, if that makes any sense at all.
100% correct. What's going on is and I'm going to get a little bit in this metaphysical, spiritual
Yes,
aspect
please,
right now.
please.
What's going on is a lot of the souls are leaving their body at the time of at night, and they're going back to the oneness, where we all come from. When you go to sleep, you have to really think about what happens. It's like you're never gone. There's an aspect or part of you that still works in this realm, but the essence of you reconnects to God. You actually are creating constantly. You're never stop being a creator. You never stop. So your force, your life force, leaves a little bit in the body for vital workings of the heart and the blood, and for the body to rest. But you're going to the other side. You're going to the behind the veil, as I like to say.
Interesting.
And while you're there, you are creating. You are healing other people. Who knows what realm of divinity that each of us works in, because we are part of the whole. So when you come here, I like to say that when we're there, we're the we. When we come here, we're the me. So you become an identity. Like right now, God force is working through all of us here in this room, right? But God is also experiencing himself, herself, itself. There's no sex on the other side, by the way. There's just a form of energy. I can tell you about that privately or on the air. But God force is experiencing itself as you, we Sam.
Right.
As you, Jordan, as Nicole, as Dr. Kousouli. Because it's basically cut itself into a identity, so that when you pass away from this life, that you can download that information back to God. They always say, the scientists are even saying, the metaphysicals, that the universe is always expanding. Right? What is that? Universe is a cop-out for God. That's why I always say, if you're going to use, everyone uses now, the universe has sent me this, the universe is that.
Right.
It's a cop-out for God. They don't want to say God because in some way, shape, or form, they're hurt by religion or some kind of man-made version of divinity. They haven't gotten the whole full pieces. When we work together, and I do coaching with my clients, we clear out all that junk. We reconstruct and bring them back, not to any kind of bagged religion or any kind of box religion, but we get the essence of understanding what God really is. Because whether it be Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, they weren't the religions that they basically are called today. Jesus was never a Christian. And that's like, what? People are like, and without getting into religion, people have a very different idea of God.
Absolutely. And I think it's very important for our listeners right now, if you're listening to this, listen with an open mind. I think it's so crucial, open mind, and be open to what information is being said here. And I think it's so important that you don't automatically discriminate or judge because of past experiences. I think everything that comes to you in life, I truly believe there's a reason, and just be open to it. Understand it. Maybe if it's come to you again and again and again, and you think you understand it, maybe there's something you didn't pick up the first 5 times. So it's really crucial that what we're talking about here might be a sensitive subject for some, might be a subject where some people don't want to talk about at all, might be a subject where people want to hear more about or want to hear a different perspective about. So be open to it. And I think it's so crucial that that you're talking about this stuff, because before we got on the air, we talked about how some people are very hesitant of, saying like, oh, the universe, they don't want to say God, even though that's deep down inside, it's what they're feeling. And then some people themselves, they don't believe in God, which is totally fine. It's their path, their life choice. Everybody has their own, and there's no judging going on. The whole purpose, I think, of what your practice is to do, and I'm just, from what the research I've done on you, from what I've gotten, is to create a positive impact on not only yourself, but the people around you and the world or realm you live in. Is this correct to a certain degree?
100% correct. I understand why we're talking about that. I understand why you put that disclaimer out.
Yes,
I understand.
Yeah.
And there is, even in my path, I was an atheist for a long period of time, especially after I got just to fast forward from where I was. I grew up Greek Orthodox, which is basically the original Christianity before actually the Roman Empire came into power.
Oh,
because
okay.
a lot of people don't know this. For 1,054 years, there was like one Christianity. There was no different Christianity.
Gotcha.
So that's what I was born into. But even I, being born into that, I had to ask a lot of questions, and I had to delete everything I was programmed with to start over and say to myself, what am I deciding is my fact, my reality? Because there's over 7 billion realities on this planet, and 7 billion truths. And religion is man-made. Spirituality is godly. That is what God is. No man is correct. All man is correct. Together as a consciousness. And
these are really deep things you're saying.
I know.
You can't just take them and go, "Oh yeah, I get that." No, you gotta like think about it. You know what I mean? So
it's heavy material, but I think like coming from that standpoint too is like I'm a person, I was raised Roman Catholic, but also kind of not like completely disavow all of it, but in a sense, I sort of have my own belief system. I had to do the same thing where it's like a reprogramming. I think, like I always said, like, God forbid my mother hears this, but I always said like my kids will be of age of like being a consenting adult or like close to, in order for them to pick the religion they want, and in order for them to be educated on it, because I feel like I was thrown into something which in a sense was sort of taught me morals and values and whatever, but at the same time I feel it's more in for me as a person to figure out the faith that I want in my own sense of spirituality and my own ability to understand what's forcing things to happen, what's the universe about. And I feel like probably a lot of our listeners too, with like, the younger generation, feel probably in a similar situation where they want to have their own belief system outside of that. And I think that this is something that, like you were saying, the word God, and everyone has it's always like that conversation stopper where it's like, it's not focusing on one specific religion. It really is focusing and harnessing on like your spirituality and your wholeness as a person.
That's correct.
it's hard. I think also, it's lonely and it's a difficult lifestyle to be on the opposite end of that. I feel for me and for most of the people I've come across, to be so disconnected from, first of all, the human community. You know, we to be like the lone wolf, if you will. I mean, to a certain degree, some people appreciate their downtime, but for a lot of things, we have to rely on other people, whether we physically interact with them. For instance, the sanitation collectors, the people who handle the water coming through the pipes and into your house. You depend on more people than you think. If you're watching TV, you're depending on millions of people. On just alone to produce that one show, thousands of individuals. The people who handle the satellites, who work on them. The people who got the satellites up there, you know? And then there's this, like, I've been reading the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. Have you come across this book in your studies?
I have heard, yes, I've heard a lot of it. I mean, there's so much going on. I can't read I don't read everything on full length. I
don't
skim.
Yeah. So it talks about the karmatic cause and effect. You know, you have certain small actions have lasting effects. It's the butterfly effect. It's the modernized version of that. So I don't know. We're hitting into really deep things, and I love it because we need to talk about this kind of stuff. Dr. Kousouli, how do you stay, you personally, healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually?
Well, going back to your previous question about how you feel so relaxed in the morning and at night, and the soul's leaving, there's less of that confusion, of that bombardment going on. See, mind is a very real thing. And where is it? It's nowhere. It's not in our brain. We previously science thought it was in the brain. It's everywhere. It's in every cell. Mind is everywhere. It's in your aura. It's everything.
Interesting. Yeah.
So the mind, when these people, when the population is letting go, and that's what they're doing when they're going to sleep. They're going into a hypnosis.
Right.
They're letting go, and the spirit goes back up. And then it comes back in the morning on the same vibratory frequency that it wants to pick up on. So it's very important that you do what you do and relax and meditate prior, and you get your creative juices flowing, you know, when there's less of that bombardment going on.
Yes.
So what do I do? I meditate, especially at night before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning. Now, I do a lot of listening to audiobooks, self-help audiobooks.
Right.
And I believe that is one of the best things to do, to use your time wisely while you're driving to work, whether you're going on a trip. Music, when you put music on, it's important that the music is never difficult on the soul. I always say difficult on the soul. And they say, well, what is it? Well, if something is giving you negative vibes or making you a negative person, that's heavy on the soul. The soul always is very vibrant, very clear. You know, we put people on aura machines at the office, and you can see their aura. I mean, it converts the electrical energy into colors, and you can see it.
Which, by the way, I want to come into your office and set up an appointment sometime.
Would love to. I'd love to have you there and show you, a lot about your energy and help you understand how to better work it. So your power, like when you come in the office, the power that you hold inside of you is so mismanaged in many people, especially people who are looking for validation outside of themselves.
Right.
And that's what's detrimental to a lot of the people in the entertainment industry. And that's why they're suffering, and that's why they're struggling. I mean, every time that I work with a person, there is an improvement, not only in their physical characteristic, but at them as a human being, because we look at the things that are tripping them up. We look at that, and we actually go into the neurology, and that's the key. You know, I care how many times you sit on a rock and you close your eyes and you meditate. If you don't take action in your neurology to reprogram it, it's not going to do anything. You're going to be sitting there with the same problem all lifetime. You don't need to sit like a monk on there's so many misconceptions in religion and even spirituality.
Right.
But what I do for myself is, as you can see, I have a green drink here, with chlorophyll that I like to drink throughout my day. It really keeps the circulation going. It really gives me good at that sun energy. It's captured in that green chlorophyll. Very, very healthy. Chlorella. Different things like that. I meditate. I also go to the gym at least twice a week. I try to keep that going. And I eat. I don't. You say, are you a vegan? Are you a vegetarian? I listen to my body. I've learned to listen to my body. And that's what I said. The intuitive ability to be connected to your body and to your mind and to your soul really opens up for you a plethora of joy, because you're not stuck on the newest fad that's going on. So many people are stuck on like, oh my God, you got to do this, you got to do that because some organization said, or this is the newest thing out there, a product, and it's got the most marketing behind it. Stop that insanity, people. Especially here in Los Angeles. Everybody's trying to sound like a clan. They're trying to get you to be this or do that. Find the individual power.
Right. I mean, you said something just now that said, listen to your body, and I kind of want to, I think a good warning, or so, I don't know if warning's the right word, but there are a lot of people out there who are like, well, I'm listening to my body, and I just want to eat Oreo cookies for
Right.
most of the day.
My body says 12
I don't think your
cheeseburgers.
body's
That's not
saying
the body.
that.
That's the ego.
There we
That's
go.
the ego. You know, that we have the ego and we have the body.
How would you be able to decipher the difference between the ego and the body?
You come into the office,
Yeah.
and then we sit down, we talk. We have a very, very good talk, a deep talk, as to what's triggering. See, most people don't stop at the moment something happens where they're going to put that cookie in their mouth. It's automatic. You've already lost when you're in automatic mode, and if you react instead of being proactive.
That is a very good thing you just said.
Well,
Automatic mode.
Yeah, people are so thinking that, oh, I'm good. I go to Pilates. I go to the gym. I'm drinking chlorophyll. Whatever. One thing. They think that one thing is going to make them healthy. Such a misconception. Then they come in and they see their X-rays and they see their report. They look at their analysis and they're like, man, I really have been lying to myself. Yes, you haven't been listening to your body, and it's stacking on and stacking on, and you're getting slower. You're getting older. You look it, you feel it, and then they're like, well, and then it really hits them, and they say, you know what? And that reality hits that they haven't been listening to their body. They haven't been listening to their soul. They haven't been listening to their mind correctly. And instead, they've been listening to the hottest, newest thing on the radio, or the newest, hottest thing on TV, or the newest, hottest thing on the billboards or the magazines. It's okay to have that, but when you are knowledgeable as to what is you and what is that, not you.
Right.
So it's everything with a piece, grain of salt, as they say.
Such good advice. Has your technique evolved over the years? I mean, obviously you didn't start off with this right out of the gates. I'm sure that you've had to experience a lot, and you've had patients who probably taught you a little bit about yourself and the practice itself, and that has to change over time. So approximately how long have you been in this journey, if you will? Great question.
I was 10 years after my semi-paralysis episode. I had open heart surgery. The valve,
Wow.
the valve I was born with, the aortic valve, was deteriorating, and I had a lot of pressure and stress in the heart.
Right.
Spiritually speaking. Well, there was a relationship I was leaving. I had a lot of stress from the boards and finishing up chiropractic school. My passion was photography, letting go of that and going into healing. It was a very, very tough time for me. And when that happened, and I was on the stretcher, being taken into the emergency room,
Yeah.
and the anesthesiologist was putting the mask on my, making small talk as they do that. So where are you from? Blah blah. I was praying because I was an atheist at that moment, and I said, well, because they had given me 8 months to live at the cardiologist's office.
Goodness.
My heart was about to burst, and I was going to basically die from internal bleeding. So, I mean, there's something working here and continuously to become the work and to become who I am and do the work that I do now. I had to think about this. I was like, why am I going through all this stuff? Why did I go through all this stuff? And I understood. It was because of the development for what's to come and what I'm doing now. So it has very much grown from where it was, from doubt to belief. Because, I was 28 years of age at the time. I'm now 38, 10 years later. And it's like the anniversary next month. And I have to say, you don't know what goes through your mind at 28 years old. When you haven't done anything in your life, really, other than some pictures and even egotistical photographer, living it up, drinking and smoking and hanging out with women and making money, and that's about all your life is. There was a deeper thing for me. There was a deeper thing for me. So at that moment, things switched, and that was the lesson that I learned at that moment. So my patients do teach me a lot. Every time a patient comes in, it's a brand new version. I'm working with divinity. I'm working with the very spirit of that individual that allows me and trusts me and gives me the ability to work with that clay. It's very important to me. And when they come in and I work with every patient, it changes who I am. It changes my experience. It changes my technique.
Right.
It upgrades me. So we're all, like you said earlier, we're all working together.
It's a community.
It's a community. Exactly.
It's a fellowship too within that community, especially within artists. You know, there's just so many things I want to talk about, and I mean, these conversations, you know, they're food for the soul, as my uncle used to say, and I think it's so important that people at least listen to people talk about this if they're uncomfortable with themselves talking about it.
If they're uncomfortable, that means that there's growth about to happen. You know, like whenever we're very in our comfort zone, there's no growth. But once you get uncomfortable, and if you're listening to this and you're feeling uncomfortable, I say good. I say very good. Follow that uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
Because you're about to grow past where you're at, which means that could mean your next role. That could mean the next doorstep that you walk through is going to make you where you want to be. It's going to make you who you want to be. And that's very important. Let me just real quick say this.
Yes, please.
You need to be it. I'm sick and tired of hearing people say you got to be positive. That's 1970s stuff. That's like hippie stuff back in the day. You got to be positive. No, you have to be it. You have to understand you are God force. If you do not understand that, there's no hope. Because you're going to sit there and be positive and be this disconnected individual, which is just going to sit there with a smile and a stupid grin on their face, you know, sitting on a yoga mat thinking that you're going to make a change in anyone's life. The most hypocritical thing I can see is people who come and say, I did yoga. You put yourself in a stretched position for so long, and I'm not putting down yoga. I'm just putting this fad mentality of some of these young women who do this yoga and they think they're transformed, but then 2 seconds later they're sitting there talking crap on their friends. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, how spiritual are you?
It doesn't work like that. It can't work like that. Yeah.
I think that's actually something that's really important, especially with our audience as actors and performers, to just really figure out, you know, how to find the like just to center yourself and like keep yourself as like the person you want to be. And that's like the first step to even being able to like go out and portray like other roles or trying to create a whole other character out of something. Like if you don't know who you are,
amen.
and if you don't figure that out,
Jordan.
like how do you expect to be able to like achieve those other types of roles and stuff?
I need to branch off that, and I'm so happy you said it. How do you expect to control this other character when you can't control your own emotions, your own thoughts? You're in automatic mode constantly. If you're not aware of what's the simplest thing of your body, what's going on around you, the other actor, can you listen to the other actor when you're not listening to yourself?
This is 100% true. When I'm working with actors, exactly that. You know, a lot of actors, they're stuck in roles. After they're finished a part, they're stuck in that role. You know, they study a role so much they don't know how to separate from themselves again.
Oh yeah, it happened with what's his name from he was the No Country for Old Men. Are you familiar with this movie?
Yes.
The bad guy.
Really good movie. I like that.
He plays. Do you know who I'm talking about? The bad guy in No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem, I think his name is. He played one of the most menacing bad guys I've ever seen. I mean, just cold-hearted antithesis of humanity. Anyway, he was on a flight to shoot another movie, and he was just feeling depressed, down, and he was watching this movie on the flight, and he started bursting into tears because he saw colors again for the first time. That's what he felt like, and he just he found his humanity again because he was stuck in that. It's a responsibility. Acting is something that if you really go for it, and it's the hard roles, there's a lot of weight and there's a lot of responsibility that goes into that. You're not just performing on stage in high school anymore. There's really, I don't know.
Look at the greats, like Al Pacino, for instance, right? Why is he so great? Why do people think he's so great? You know, Robert De Niro. Why do they think these guys are so great? Because they know who they are. They know who they are. They know they're playing an actor on stage, but they know who they are underneath that actor. And they understand the dynamics of how they're going to take that character themselves and manipulate it to make it great. And anytime you see them being interviewed, there's this calm, there's this confidence. There's just like, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it. You know,
Yeah.
it's there, and you see all these new actors looking at them, they're just so hungry for it. You know, it's just like, no, you have to be it. You have to know your God force. They know their God force. Right. Now, in the office, how does someone get that God force? Now, here's a question,
please.
right? Well, you have to. The way I work is that I look at the individual when they come in. They don't look at them as basically a hurt arm or a hurt leg, or a back or a spine like most traditional chiropractors just look at them. I look at them as a human being, as a whole individual. They're coming in with their challenges. They're coming in with their victories. They're coming in with their thoughts and their things that are weighing them down.
Mm-hmm.
They're also coming down with good things. They're coming in with that. So they're a whole total being. My intake form in my office is basically 15 to 20 pages, probably one of the longest ones. And if you're a healer out there that really loves their craft, I would say that's the way you need to do it. You need to get all the information you can so that you can help the person as much as you can. These one-page, tell me your name and your address and all these. Look, patients don't like to fill all that stuff out, but that's again, they're going to grow because you're going to help them. You need the information. So I'm very different than most holistic practitioners. I'm a detective. When you put me on the case and I work with you, I'm looking to find that, just like the topic of this, the source of the issue. And most of the time, that arm leads to an issue with their father because the right arm specifically is more male energy. They can go into something that happened to them at 3 years of age. I can regress them into a previous life and find out what happened in another. They have a stomach problem. Guess what? They might have been stabbed in the stomach as a soldier, and then basically now they're having a recurrent issue of that. It's so, and it sounds really weird. It sounds really weird for people listening. But if you understand that your DNA, and scientists look at DNA and they look at DNA and they're like, well, look at all this junk DNA here. Mm-hmm. We only have this double helix here. No, that other DNA is actually part of the individual. But we don't have the means and the science and the technology right now to be able to understand all of what we're looking at. But with regression hypnotherapy, you can go into previous. The mind, it's just like a recorder. It's a super recorder, and you can see the details of the file, of the picture, of the print, wherever, on any piece of paper back in the day, at a certain day of the time of the year. If you basically bring the mind to it, it's that detailed.
Dr. Kousouli, we're out of time, but we've talked about a lot of great things here on the show, lots of gems. And if people want to find out more about what you're doing, you have a website, right?
I do. It's just my name. It's that crazy Greek name again, drkousouli.com, DrKousouli. That's got a little bit of soul in there, so it's easy to think. Kousoul, and then the I.
And they can set up an appointment through the website. They can find your phone number for your practice.
If anyone's listening to this, right, I know this was a deep, long conversation,
Oh, yeah,
and there's so much more to talk about, especially when we get specific and personalized. If you're looking to better yourself, not just your career, yes, that's an outshoot of the positive things that happen after we work with you. If you're really looking, the people that come to me are the people who need to come to me, the people who are sent to me through divine nature. I really don't work with people who are low energy. I don't. It just doesn't happen. If you are listening to this and you are moved, there's truth being spoken to your heart, and you feel like I'm the guy to guide you in this lifetime, in this moment, in this time and space, in this reality, reach out to me. My door is open to you. And you can do that anyway. If you're listening here, you get a free consultation. I'm not going to charge you. Come in, just say that you listen to the radio station here. Yeah,
that's great.
Going to do it, and and we'll have you. Excuse me. I'll have you make an appointment with my staff, and you'll come in, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Tell me what's on your mind, and I'll tell you how we can help you.
That's amazing.
Dr. Kousouli, thank you so much. We're
You're very welcome.
gonna definitely push this. This is an incredible thing out there, and I have a lot of respect for what you do. And thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an absolute honor to have you on here.
No, my pleasure. If we can help more people together, then we've done what we're here to do.
Absolutely. I might just come in for a consultation. Who knows?
And you're on social media as well?
Yes, actually, my social media, I love to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I do have people that help me with it, but I love to get on it and be interactive and very personalized with it. So, every time I'll look around, and if I see a comment that's positive and really good, I'll definitely write back. It's my name again, Dr. Kousouli, DrKousouli, both on Twitter, Facebook, all of them. It's the same thing, Dr. Kousouli, at Dr. Kousouli.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for coming
you
on the
again
show.
for the opportunity. I really
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Thanks.
Our honor and pleasure. Thank you so much.
And you have I'm sorry, before we go, you have a book coming out in January.
Yes,
we have. Thank you for that. We definitely have. I'm finishing my second book, and the third book is coming out. I'm very excited about the 3 books. The first book is already out. It's doing well on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. We had a book signing not that long ago. It's called Dirty Little Secrets of the Healthcare Industry, where I blow out all the myths and the hoopla of the healthcare, how to get healthy. It's also how I use a lot of the information in that book to help heal my patients. Also, coming out next year, we have tons of seminars, how to become a healer, like the work I do on the Kousouli method, getting certified and all that. That's coming really soon.
Oh, wow.
So a school down the road is also coming, and the book on sexual neurology and how to hypnotize your lover. I'm going to be putting that out end of the year. It's going to be very, very big, and it's going to be interesting to see
When you
all
say
these lovers running around.
Hypnotize your lover. What do you mean by that?
Well, in a loving, positive way.
Okay.
Do not use my work for evil, Jordan.
I'm glad we clarified that.
Just want to be sure.
Absolute pleasure having you on. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of fun. When we come back, Cast at Talents Showcase winner Kandace Caine.
Cast at Talent is pleased to support Actors Anonymous. Cast at Talent, for more than a decade, we've been working to make sure that the right actor has the opportunity to compete for the right job and has the right online tools to pursue that job. The Cast at Talent online showcase, Gig Finder, major open calls like Star Wars and Jungle Book, and feedback by Cast It certified casting pros within 24 hours. CastAtTalent.com, @CastAtTalent, and Cast at Talent on Instagram or Facebook. # right actor, right job.
Put a flavored condom on your head because your mind is about to get blown.
High school is over.
Blackout party at the beach, bitches! You're legit popular.
Ah, Maddie f***ing McKibben.
You have to tell her.
I still want to be with you. You still want to be with me?
Welcome to the Enchanted Fantasy Prom. Be sure to sign up for the raffle. You could win a rainbow.
Awkward. Season 5 premiering August 31st at 9/8 Central. Only on MTV.
beginning, I was like, oh my god. You know when like. But I thought we kind of picked it up more towards the end.
Yeah, I'm just doing a.
The only thing I'm more confused about that we have to figure out is listeners today get a free private consultation. Do you want to say listeners in the first 2 days of our... That's the only thing I question. We'll just say it the way it is, and we'll just figure it out, because he wrote it. So.
Yeah. That's I just listen. And who knows? Maybe the consultation they do, they don't mind if it's like maybe they always they always do a free consultation just to get people in the door. So
I'll probably tweet about it too. So.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. A teacher, speaker, mentor, author, board-certified chiropractor, hypnotherapist, and featured on major networks, Dr. Theo Kousouli is Los Angeles. Oh my gosh, this is a lot of acting. I'm good, thanks. A teacher, speaker, mentor, author, board-certified chiropractor, hypnotherapist, and featured on major networks, Dr. Theo Kousouli is Los Angeles's. Right?
Yeah.
A teacher, speaker, mentor, author, board-certified chiropractor, hypnotherapist, and featured on major networks, Dr. Theo Kousouli is Los Angeles' premier holistic metaphysical energy healer, recognized and trusted for effective, quick, drug-free results. His remarkable, natural, pain-free holistic methods focus on getting you to your top performance levels by unblocking pathways using your body's own repair mechanisms. Suffering from body pains, emotional distress, or spiritual disconnection? You don't need to. Lovingly called Hollywood's secret weapon. Let me start that part again. Lovingly called Hollywood's secret weapon, he works with top business leaders, athletes, actors, models, celebrities, and public figures who want to achieve amazing things in their lives. Listeners today get a private, free consultation with Dr. Kousouli at his Beverly Hills office only if you call right now at 310-777-3463. That's 310-777-3463. For videos, visit his website, www.drkousouli.com. And you can also connect with the doctor on Instagram and Twitter at Dr. Kousouli. That's DrKousuli. Let Dr. Kousouli show you the right way back to health and mind, body, and soul. Let Dr. Kousouli show you the right way back to health and mind, body, and soul.